It's not in the cards for you. I'm pretty good at insults, and I got the internet and a lot of free time.
Generation Z through the media has this reputation for being a very generous generation. Oh, bullshit. If you study the studies, empathy rates have been dropping since 2000. They're the greediest generation. If you want a girlfriend, they leave you stranded. There's nothing generous about them. They might feed you with their fucking little church group or whatever, but they won't feed your sexual need. They won't feed your romantic need. They won't invite you to their parties if you're Generation X. Nah, they're just a bunch of fucking little bigots. They'll parade around that they got their 2 girlfriends today, and then because of the fucking hookup culture, they have 7 girlfriends a week. If you see this, you know exactly what I'm saying. People between 18 and 24 always got several girlfriends, but the media calls them this generous generation. Fuck no, they're not. They preach how socialists they are, and they act like wealth-hoarding capitalist dogs. They're not a generous generation. They never introduce you to any kind of women. They leave you stranded. They pretend to be your friend. They come up and they want to take a picture with you if you're famous, but they don't want you to come to their parties or anything. No, they don't. They want you to be self-reliant. They'll talk about how big-time generous Gen Z is on the news or the media, these stories, but they're not generous at all. They're wealth hoarding. They're liars. There's nothing generous about Gen Z. If it was, you'd introduce me to women. I don't fucking know anybody here. I should just go to the bar and find someone? That ain't gonna happen. I don't have an ID. But it's been years of this shit in Spokane where I've talked about this shit. All you gotta do is prove me otherwise, Gen Z. Prove you're a generous generation. Take me to your house. We'll introduce Lucas here to some women. No? Then you're not a generous generation. The media lied. Look at the empathy rates. Look at the studies on empathy. It's dropped since 2000. It's 2021. A steep decline. That much is fucking obvious. They'll feed your spiritual need or whatever, but they won't feed your romantic need. They'll feed your hunger with they'll make you a sandwich or something. They'll serve at their group. But if you want to hang out with them and have a social life, they'll smoke weed with you. That's fine. But then if you want a girlfriend, they'll fuck off and do it on their own or be really fucking vague about shit so you don't know what's going on. Gen Z is not a generation of generosity. They are a generation of greed. They talk about their socialism openly. But where are the women at? No, they won't invite you to your house parties if you're Generation X. Fuck no. They're not a generous generation. Generation Z, prove that you're a generous generation. Yeeta Bay. Oh, you gotta have your 7 fucking girlfriends this week because of the hookup culture. Fuck you, Gen Z. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. You're stingy as hell. Prove me the fuck otherwise. I want to date Generation Z women. You got a problem with it? You're a fucking misogynist ass fucking generation. You're age phobic. You're ableist. You're pieces of shit. Prove me the fuck otherwise. Show your generosity, Gen Z, especially in Spokane. Invite me to your house parties and let's meet some hot Gen Z women since you're so generous and know all these fucking women that you're parading around 6 at a time because you have a nice car that pollutes the earth as you go to your fucking protest, you hypocrites. You talk about how great it is that I ride the bus and don't pollute, but then you have a boyfriend and then he has got a car. It's just all this litany of lies and contradictions among you. Prove me the fuck otherwise. I'm sick of this shit. Oh, you're gonna be self-reliant. You fucking Republicans. Breaking the laws of the Bible. Okay, so, oh, sure. you walk around, you see multiple Christians walking around with their multiple chicks. Luke 12:15. Be wary of greed in all forms. These Christians are going to burn in hell. Anyway, witchtrash. I don't know. She might be a pagan and follow different rules. Who knows? But she sent me $50 over Cash App. This is my job. I insult people over the internet, or I mitigate little things, or I do love letters, or whatever you really want me to do, advertisements. Witchtrash, she sent me $50 just now to do a video insulting her cats, Goblin and Ham. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. And she wanted me to really lay into them because, you see, Ham is an all-black, short-haired, emotionally withholding and distant kitty cat. Goblin is long-haired and fluffy, and he needs attention. He's always breaking stuff. Ham, he needs to love more, and Goblin needs to give her more space. And my client, Witchtrash, I'm going to show you, as I'm showing you this game that I'm trying to invent. I'm pretty close on this. She sent me, hey buddy, she sent me $50 to insult her fucking cats. This, I would say that she's probably a pagan chick, but she seems pretty cool and funny. I don't know anything about her, but Witchtrash just sent me the money to insult her cats. And I want to make so much money doing this. I made $250 one week doing the whole video thing. Like doing insults back and forth and like mitigating two things over the PlayStation Network and stuff like that. So people really like what I'm doing. And I'm not sure how to really land to these fucking cats. I guess I'll just say, Ham, you need to love more and to stop being so emotionally distant towards your human, Witchtrash. You need to come up and snuggle more with your human. Because Witchtrash spent a lot of money to have me insult you. I mean, $50, what could you get with $50? That's like 5 packs of cigarettes. I mean, that's a really nice sushi meal. With like 2 rolls of sushi is only like $40. So your human, your owner sent me $50 to insult you because you're emotionally distant and a kitty cat that is not showing any kind of love. So I'm doing this video so you know otherwise, and you know that you're acting like a dog, man. You need to come up and do that thing that cats do where they like brush against the old leggy and go meow, meow, meow. But Goblin, man, you're different, fool. You're fluffy and you think you're the shit because you're a beautiful fluffy kitty cat and you need attention. You're always breaking stuff, dude. Witchtrash, your human wants you to back off a little bit, my guy. And be less like a cat and adopt some styles of perhaps a doggy and be a little more to yourself and stop knocking shit like glasses and cups off the table and probably little statuettes. If you've ever broken like a precious moment or like a statuette, people really care about that shit. And as a cat, you think you would have more empathy towards your human, my man. I don't really like that. I was sent $50 by your owner to insult you and lay into you. That's, what could you buy with $50? Like a really nice bottle of wine. But instead of buying a really nice bottle of wine, your owner sent me $50. That could have been used for like 2 meals with a piece of cake at Red Robin. Like a nice burger with fries and a piece of cake. I'd spent $26. Like, that's like 2 meals at motherfucking Red Robin, and your owner just sent me $50. $50 to insult you, you stupid cat. You're not doing the right thing, man. You're not being chill like cats are. You're knocking shit off the table like Odie from Garfield, and your human is really upset. So, Ham, you need to love more and brush against the leg like Witchtrash wants you to. And Goblin, you need to back off a bit, my dude, and stop being such a like one of those kind of cats, you know, that just knocking shit off the table. That's wrong. That is asinine. You mean cat. Okay, so this is a game that I'm working on. I just want to show how easy it is to make a board game. As you can see, I've got letters from the Futhark. These are runes, and I'm only doing that to mark spaces. There are going to be like problems if you lay down at certain points or not lay down at certain points. Like you might have to do a task in order to avoid the punishment, so you'll have to pay attention to a third sheet about what's going on, or perhaps on this sheet. So there'll be all these runes, and then if you put something in that row, something will go wrong, that you have to maybe stack something on top of it in order to prevent it or something like that. There's going to be 2 different colors. I want to incorporate this into the Noah's Ark game because it's a new mechanic that I came up with, because the church wants me to do a Noah's Ark game. So I'm making them the Noah's Ark game for them. I'm just doing it as a gift. I'm going to actually have this professionally made on the Game Crafter. And I won't use Futhark. What I'll do is use Hebrew letters, and they won't really signify anything except that, like, if you're in the Aleph row or the Bet row, you could get a punishment or a reward, because that's the language, you know. So what it would be is, so far what I have is there's going to be a harvesting element to it, where you're harvesting things to build the ark, because you're going to need certain things. It's going to be colored in. Certain areas are going to be like wood and like water or sap that you're going to need from areas like the bluff, or you're going to need from areas like the desert or the woods, because apparently you lived in an area where there was a bunch of stuff that you can harvest stuff on. I don't really know. The Bible's not really specific about the area. Mount Ararat, I mean, at least there's mountains, so you could harvest rock to do things. He obviously used gopher wood, which was like cedar, because originally the plan was to build the ark out of cedar. And I read this, I was like, okay, so that's Genesis 6 through 9. And I read those chapters and learned a little about the Noah's Ark game that I'm making. It's called Cubit, and it's going to be cool. It's going to have a picture of Noah's hand, which measures from the tip of the middle finger down to the elbow, and it's going to be called Cubit. That's the name of the game. And at first it's going to have like an abstract strategy element. But it's also going to have a harvesting element too, where you're harvesting the materials and using chits. So it's going to have like 1,000 chits. I don't think it really needs to have that many, but I think I could do it with 999. Because I need to like quadruple it. I don't think so. I would need. I think I could do it with 999 chits, because that's the maximum you could buy from the Game Crafter. So I might just buy 999 chits. I don't care how much this costs. If it costs me $200 to make this game, it's possible, but I'm going to give it to them as a gift, hopefully before Christmas, because they fed me a lot of food. So I'm trying to earn money again through Cash App. I just did that $50 video where I insulted a woman named She might actually be a guy. For all I know, witchtrash had me insult her cats, or his cats. I'm not sure who it is, because a witch could be a guy within paganism. I'm sure that's what it is a pagan. And they usually have a lot of cats. I don't know what they are. I'm not sure what this person is. But anyway, I got these directional dice, so I thought about doing this with directional dice. Like, I will get pieces from Uncle's Games, and I will get pieces from the Game Crafter and put together this game from this Noah's Ark game that I'm building for the Mosaic Center. So what I have so far is Futhark letters, the runes of the Norse alphabet, because I would have to do it on the computer to do the Hebrew alphabet, because there's like parts of like symbols that are like thin and thick. It's really hard to write the Hebrew alphabet. It's difficult. So I just used the Elder Futhark to prototype what I'm doing here. I'm working on that Noah's Ark game. Shaded areas for different colors, but we got the different terrains. Got the dice. So what it's going to be, you'll roll 4 directional dice, and you'll pick one. You'll start at any spot. each person will pick one that's playing, and it'll be a 2-player game because 2 of every kind. And you'll have 2 colors that you're working on. I'm going to choose red and gold for mine. So I'm going to just pick north. That would be straight up from wherever point. So let's say I started from there, and I'll go up to there. That'll be where I start. I'll put my pin there. Well, just do it there where it rolled down. That's the north point from where I started. I'll roll a 20-sided die. 10, so I can pick any shape between 1 and 10 to draw. So I could draw the 8. I'd draw a square. Let's say I just draw a square right there. It'll be one of those games on paper. So I draw my square right there. I won't need a board. We'll do this on sheets of paper. You can buy these really cool pads of paper that are like notebook paper size if you want from the Game Crafter, and we're going to do it that way. It'll be a roll and write game with harvesting. So we got that. Of course, before that, I would have had to roll those dice. So my starting point, and I would move 3 from my starting point. Let's say I start wherever, and I do this one. On my next turn, I would have to move 3 from that point in any direction. I could go diagonal if I want. I can go up and down. It depends upon the directional dice that I choose. It'll be a 2-player game, so I'll have my regular color of chits, and I'll just fill in 1 within that. And there will be points where I'll have to stack to avoid punishment or whatever I do. So I'll get a green one, and I'll put it right there on top of it in order to denote that I'm trying to avoid the punishment or the reward upon that stack. Maybe I'm trying to get the reward, so I have to stack it, or I have to avoid the punishment, so I'll have to stack it. I'll have to use a turn instead of rolling the dice. You see what I mean? There'll be 6 other dice that you'll roll, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you'll have 6 options of building material, and you'll have to when you move, you'll have to use the same dice that you use to move from that certain point to connect. And when you attack the other team, what you're going to have to do is do a cornering move. And the cornering move would be your person or your stack would have to be right there, and the guy that you corner would have to be another color. We'll just use the same color that we got for what we're using. Of course, we'll use blue. Let's use blue. So you'd have your stacking color, and you'd have your regular color to denote 2 of every kind. These are going to be animals. But I'll just use chits, or I'll use these tokens. They got tokens like this. The Game Crafter, they're big. My object is to have this board 4 times the size, and that they got a board that big that you can buy and work with on the Game Crafter. So I would be there, and the cornering move would be I have to do something that would get that guy right there, but also a piece of whatever I'm doing right there, which would attack, and that would remove this from the board. There's also going to be a harvesting element because this will be shaded in different colors. Each of these things will have maybe 2 colors or 1 color. It'll just be shaded with colored pencil, and then I'll have that professionally made. I'll do it over a paint app and do that. I got a little compass drawn on it to denote the sides, and kind of like Tetris pieces, just little shapes. I got that idea from the cartographers. So I bought that game to see what the cartographers were about. So I'm going to take that element, but I'm going to use, there's going to be more attack, there's going to be more bad and more good on the side because you're going to utilize all the rows. In the cartographers, you only use 4 rows to have the good or bad thing. It's really complex when you think about it, but it's really a simple game that will take you about 45 minutes to play. This will probably take you about as long as the game will go, or maybe even less. There's going to be enough board space to do this for a while. So doing it with 20 would probably work for a board this size. But then again, I think, well, why not, 50? So 50 times 4, because it'll be 4 times the size, will be 200 per. And I've done games where it's been that much. And you're just going to have these wooden coins or beads.
in order to do the 2 of every kind, and it'll be working with animals. And that's a prototype of the Noah's Ark game that I'm working on for the Mosaic Center. There's just going to be a gift called Cubit.
Let's say you were a 40-year-old man and you wanted to impress 21-year-old women. In my case, I'm 41. What would I talk about? Well, I would talk about age gap relationships and why they work. There's a ton of studies that show an elevated sense of well-being within these age gap relationships. What would be causing that? Well, the first thing that I can think of is high telomerase sperm between 35 and 55, which gives kids stronger DNA. There were reports of schizophrenia, Marfan syndrome, autism, and Asperger's, but only from fathers that had those diseases initially. If you have bipolar, your chance of transferring it to a woman that doesn't have mental illness or bipolar is 10%, which is about the same as chronic tooth decay. It's not that scary of a thing. So I would talk about how sperm enters the body, enters the uterine wall, washes over the egg or the not egg, and enters the bloodstream. What would give these women the sense of well-being would be either a elevation in metabolism or an elevation in the forces of the antibodies known as the van der Waals force. So my idea is that the sperm enters the bloodstream through the uterus, causing the van der Waals forces to elevate in microjoule or nanojoule wattage, probably at that level, nanojoule wattage, joules per second, causing the antibodies to detect pathogens sooner by being able to detect them from further away. The sperm also enters the bloodstream through the uterine walls, which enters the kidney, which would metabolize that sperm for waste elimination, elevating the metabolism beyond the normal rate, just like exercise, eating good fruits and vegetables, and drinking water would do. What would cause fathers that age to be more empathic towards their children would be the fact that an elevated rate of progesterone due to a dropping rate of testosterone. As soon as you hit 40, your testosterone begins to drop, which would crank up the right supramarginal gyrus of the brain, elevating the social mirroring, making you more empathic towards your wife and your children, which would in turn trigger the pituitary gland to go into hypersex drive, since there's more reports of men between 40 and 60 years old being better at sex. So I'm just filling in the 2 or 3 pieces about age gap relationships and why women love us so much. So the Generation X, Generation Z scene would be where? Well, you'd find those at martini bars, wine bars, and beer places where they have high-quality beer, which would be Lower Post Street in Spokane. If I had an ID, I'd go to those places, but I don't. So I could just easily walk around and do something a lot quicker, which would be, hi, I just thought you were pretty and wanted to say hello and introduce myself, which I might do now that I have a phone. I can get phone numbers. If they judge me based on classism, they're a socialist generation. Or they're a Christian generation. Either side that I go with, I could say that Jesus is a socialist, or the fact that they identify as a socialist through Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So age phobia, ableism, and classism wouldn't be identified through the Zoomers. I just checkmated your argument. Booyakasha Wagwan.
Hey, yo, solidarity to the socialists and the democratic socialists out there. We got to have more money. We got to make more money. Give us our checks, Biden. Republicans, stop talking about illegal immigration. It's such non sequiturs on both sides of the aisle. What we need, oh, by the way, that's the left hand, assholes. The left hand, not the fucking right hand. The right hand is right-wing power. Left hand. Jesus. So I just made that video for witchtrash on her cats. It was funny to her talking shit about her cats. One was unattentive and one was knocking shit off the table. And I have $50 now. That could be enough for me to go get an identification card. I don't even need a physical address. You see, the thing with Cash App that I like more than Cameo is you don't need a bank. You don't need to link a bank. All you need to do is get a reloadable card or even a non-reloadable card from a drugstore like Rite Aid. That's how I got the money out last time. When I had $300 in there, I just took it out with a card and I linked it to that account. You can link as many cards, just remove the other card and put another card so you can get reloadable or non-reloadable cards and take your money out. If I want to get an ID tomorrow, I technically can on Friday, because the new rules is when you request a check from the payee, you get the money out and it's always the next day. You can't do it on the same day, which is a hassle. And next week they're doing a paperwork week. So even if I get the place at the Oxford House, the room there, I would have to wait a week before I can get the money, which means another week of sleeping outside, which is fine enough because it's been nice out. We did have a major rainstorm for a little bit, for one day, but it seems to have cleared up. I'll have to check the weather reports for next week because I hope it's sunny out. I'm sleeping outside because it's nice outside. I guess I can go to the UGM. I'm kind of traveling around the places. But that $50, thank you. I can now use that to get an ID and go to bars now. I'm having trouble getting the voucher because I don't have a permanent mailing address right now. But $50 I think it's $55 to get an ID. So if I get one more gig and do another $50 video, you'll have to check out the cats video that I had and I posted online. I'm trying to earn more money. My goal is to earn $1,000 a week. And of course, I'll have to kick off of all my benefits, but I'll be making $48,000 a year if there's some weeks that are a little low. If I do $1,000 a week every week, I'd be making $52,000 a year, which would be more than my third grade teacher's little brother, who's been teaching for a couple of years. So my goal is to make $48,000 a year doing this, which would be $50 a video. 20 videos a week would be fine, which would be 4 videos a weekday. And you can see it only takes me about 5 minutes. Right now, I need $55 to get an ID card. So if I get one more gig, I'll have $100, which will give me an ID card. And I'll be able to go to bars. I can request some money out, and then I'll be able to find a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? A goal that's been 9 years in the making. So, solidarity, AOC for president, female empowerment, democratic socialism. Let's win this motherfucker. Yeah, 4 years. 4 years from now. Biden out. AOC in. Let's do this shit, motherfucker. Yeah! Girl power! Okay. Just so we're clear here, there are all these scientific reports, these scientific studies about generation gap love improving the feelings of well-being within the participants, so the man and the woman, especially when the man is older by a generation. So not a millennial, but Generation X with Generation Z. And you're seeing this a lot around Spokane. You're welcome. I've been talking about this for 5 years. Solidarity, we're socialists, high capitalism. Anyway, we've been talking about this for 5 years with the Wern here in Lower Post Street. All the drinking establishments and the taco restaurant are hugely restaurants that cater towards age gap. That apparently you can get a pretty good martini for $8. You can get well drinks and things like that. 3 to 6 happy hour at Bistango. I'll probably go a little later. I like the nightlife a little more. So someone would just pay me $50 to do a gig for them. I could do $50 more and I'll get an ID card, because it costs $55 if I'm not mistaken and get an ID card. But anyway, why age gap, why generation gap relationships work between Generation X males and Generation Z females. There's all these reports of greater well-being. There's scientific reports on older men being better, more attentive fathers. There's scientific reports on the sperm giving kids stronger DNA because it metabolizes, it just, that's a later point. The point is an age gap relationship, especially from older men, silver foxes, give your kids stronger DNA and a more attentive, doting father, and a feeling of greater health and happiness within the men and the women in that relationship. So there's no goddamn reason to date men under the age of at least 35, probably closer to 45, and I'm 41. So there's no reason to date men under about 40 because the fecundity of sperm peaks at 45, and the middle point, just like 21, peaks for giving your kids stronger DNA, a more attentive lover, and a more attentive father for your children. So the age gap relationship, the generation age gap relationship, the Generation X, Generation Z pattern of younger women, older men, my age and your age, Zoomers. My theory, my conjecture of why this works is that the high telomerase sperm enters the uterine walls, washes over the egg, giving it stronger DNA, improving the cells of the body by 300 to 400%. And why I say that is if you're a mom between 18 and 24, it doubles the life expectancy of a child reaching the age of 100. So if it doubles again through another in that participation, which would be a Generation X father, it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 350% more efficient cells within the baby. And also a feeling of well-being, health, and happiness within this type of relationship between the men and the older men and the younger women. So my theory, my idea is that the semen enters the uterine walls, which of course enters the bloodstream, improving the antibodies and cranking up the van der Waals force of antibodies. The wattage, joules per second. In this case, it would probably be nanojoules per second. So that antibodies, the molecules that detect disease, would be able to detect from further away, making them stronger or they're not technically cells, but they're stronger molecules in detecting disease because they can detect disease by the oblonging of pathogens and the antibodies quicker, by detecting sooner from further away, more micrometers away, which would give you indeed a greater sense of health. And that semen would again be metabolized through the kidneys and waste elimination, which would improve the metabolism, of course making you feel better, like drinking more water, eating more fruits and vegetables, and exercise, other things that improve the metabolism and give you more energy. If you have a higher rate of metabolism, you have a higher rate of energy. The reason for more attentive fathers is probably because there's higher progesterone in older males, because by the time you're 40, I'm 41, there's a percentage drop every year in testosterone. So I have a 2% drop in testosterone, which makes me more empathic towards women and children. That would probably and somehow link to the pituitary gland, explaining why men between 40 and 60 years old are better at sex, according to many scientific studies. I'm thinking that these three things, high telomerase sperm, the drop in testosterone, and the feelings of well-being, all sort of link together in the age gap relationship and why that works. The female ejaculate would again be absorbed by the surface of the skin on the cock, which would also improve the immune system of men. This is about the van der Waals force. This is about the high energy production of the antibodies. This would be about the kidneys. This would be about improved metabolism through high telomerase. This would be about a drop in testosterone, making one more empathic. It would crank up, I guess, the pituitary gland for the sex drive to make the high telomerase sperm. So perhaps the drop in testosterone in older males is what cranks up the pituitary gland, which improves the reproductive transport cells of the males, making them more efficient swimmers, faster swimmers, and harder hitters against the egg, meaning that those particular sperm within a male's balls would be better sperm in reaching the egg and also penetrating the egg and giving the kid stronger DNA. So you have three-pronged argument for dating men that are Generation X if you're a Generation Z woman. More attentive, doting fathers. More attentive, doting boyfriends and husbands. Stronger DNA in a child and a feeling of well-being. So I guess that's 4 things. There is no reason whatsoever, at least logically, to date men under the age of 40 because we're also better at sex. So that would be 5 things. And this is all backed up by scientific reasoning. I'm just saying it's explained by a couple different things. The high telomerase sperm, the drop in testosterone, the metabolization of that sperm through the uterus, blood, and kidneys. The higher rate of the empathy within the region might crank up the pituitary gland because the pituitary gland is the sex drive, which also is the creative center of the body. We know things about gut health and how the guts improve memory, how you have good organs. It'll improve your memory, just like muscle memory does and brain memory. The guts themselves have memories which are beneficial to the body if you have good guts. That's why they say you have guts. So if you're dating Gen X males, you have guts. And I want to run those fucking guts, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a guy that wants a girlfriend, and I love Generation Z. Plus, you're known for being a generous generation. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe if I go to the bar, I'd be able to find Zoomer Bay. But I need an ID card, and I need $5 more, so I need another $50 gig. I did one about cats that you should see on my program for a viewer named Witchtrash, and I bitched about her cats for her for $50, which I guess she thought was funny. I think I'll just say nigga until you Zoomers knock off your age-phobic bigotry and date me. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. 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 You better share the wealth today. We're socialists. Enough of your greed. Luke 12:15. Be wary of greed in all forms. We're socialists. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 fuck your age phobia today. Nigga, 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 I need a girlfriend. 2 at a time as ya. Religious and you're gonna burn in hell, you're gonna burn in hell, you're gonna burn in hell. Socialists will make you feel guilty. Nigga, 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 share the wealth. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay for the improvement of your health. Evander Walls Force. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Improves your immune system in every way. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 age-phobic bigotry, go away. I'll just say nigga till I get a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Enough of your bigotry, enough of your greed. Generation Z, I'm dating these. There's nothing you can do. Quit treating me like you're the Christian and I'm the Jew. Like you're the Hitler Youth. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 yeet a Zoomer Bay. Nigga, 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 yeet a Zoomer Bay. Prove the existence of love and God. I need a Zoomer Bay. I need a Zoomer Bay. Well-being from the improved health. Nigga, 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 you're hot as fuck. You got your 2 girlfriends, but you're out of luck. We're socialists, you hypocrite. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer pay. 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 2 at a time can play. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer pay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer pay. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer pay. It may not be radio friendly, but I don't give a K. Age for with bigotry and today. Nigga, 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 I need a Zoomer bay. 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 Enough of this bigot shit. Zoomer bay. Girl power, socialism, solidarity, what's up? We're socialists. Anyway, I'm designing this Noah's Ark game, and I'm also going to have cards. I'm beta testing it with just playing cards. I know that the dice would determine how much of each material you would need to build each thing. So you would need wood to build the door, and you would of course need meat because you're going to have to eat while building the door. You know what I mean? You're going to need a little bit of every kind of material in order to build the various things. This is a gift I'm giving to the Mosaic Center for feeding me. I'm an atheist though, so I like designing board games, and I'm designing this game for the church. I'm just kind of like beta testing it to see what would be going on. And I got the playing cards. So you would have a card, you would have a hand of 7. So you would take 1, and that would be how many moves you would have. So you would draw your highest card, which would be a king, which would, I'm thinking about it just doing it 1 through 10. 1 through 10. Or 1 through, so you don't do too many. But you would take your highest card, and that's how many pieces that you would harvest around that point, or something like that. I don't know what it would be. I think maybe the highest I should make it would be 6. So it's reasonable, you know what I mean? The highest card would be 6, but there would also be other kind of values on it, because you would be playing as Noah and your wife, right? Those would be the 2 players, Noah and Noah's wife, playing against each other, building the ark. But you would also build your children, Japheth, Ham, and Shem, from the various things on the cards. So you would be collecting your cards for these sets. You would have the choice of doing the high card, or you would have the choice of doing the card that you need in order to build what you would need for the kid. Like one card would have the head, another card would have an arm, another card would have another arm on it. So it would have a number and a body part, like the arm. So the number would determine how many you would harvest around. So if you harvest from you take the number again, and you would go from your starting point. You do the animals around as you're doing, as I said in the previous video. But you would go your starting point again and move in another direction. You would take 2 dice. One would be your animal movement, and one would be your harvesting movement. So you move 8, and one's maybe south, and another one be north. Can you do it? Well, you can move up to a certain point, but you can't move past it, so you could do anything or less. So you couldn't do 8 up, but you could do, like, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So you might draw a north dice and use the south dice for animals, taking into consideration the punishment or the reward upon the letters, which won't be runes, of course, they'll be Hebrew letters, and that'll determine your reward or your punishment. And the cards will be used in the fashion that I just explained, which would be your highest card, or you draw the part for the body part that you would need in order to build your sons, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. And whoever builds their kids first and gets the most animals first what you would need. There will be some sort of number that you would have to have that many animals. Also, your rewards and your risk would give you more animals, and they would give you less animals based on not stacking and doing a double move upon that space. And the game I'm designing is called Cubit, the Noah's Ark game, and I'm going to have it professionally made with stuff that you can get from the game crafter. If they don't have those directional dice, I'll just get those from the Uncle's Games. And I seem to have misplaced my directional dice. Oh no! Well, I guess I'll have to spend another $1. I ended up buying more of these little dice because they're 15 cents. So I got a whole bunch of these little dice. Got my receipts. I bought two D20s. So I have all these dice that I bought the other day, and I have all these. But these are they're like, I think $2 for 20 of these. So if I were to have 100 of them, that would be quite a bit of money. It'd be cheaper on the game crafter. Except I'll need the directional dice too. And the game I'm building is called Cubit, the Noah's Ark game. Okay, I just wanted to go over the game I'm making for the Mosaic Center. I'm going to make it a little more professionally. Right now I'm just beta testing it. So I got like regular playing cards and how that's going to work. I lost the directional dice. Oh no. I think they're like 25 cents a piece, so it'll cost me $1 to get 4 more. I'll get them at Uncle's Games, and they're getting a new stock of them soon. They usually get them once a week, their new stock. So you have a list over here of the shapes you can build. You start at a place, you know. Let's say I just start like right here. There's my dot. You know, I'll start right there. That's where I start. The map itself is going to be different colors. This will be covered in the Hebrew alphabet instead of the Norse alphabet. I don't have the capability to really draw the Hebrew alphabet really well because it's hard to draw. The runes are easier to draw, so I just went with the runes. The board itself will be more squares. It'll probably be 30 by 30. This is 15 by 13. That's what I could do reasonably to fit the discs that I have. The discs are, of course, like this, and I got 4 different colors of that. So what it'll be is you'll roll the die, the 20-sided die, and okay, that rolls a 2, so you can choose 1 or 2. That's not really all that good, but it gives you enough of an argument, so to speak. That's 16, so you can go 1 through 16 on the shapes. You see what I mean? That you could draw. And so I'm going to say I'm going to draw 5. And I start from here. That's my starting point. That'll be 8. So I have to go, it'll be in a direction, so north, northwest, such and such. Let's say I would do south, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's where I would start to draw my shape, and I chose 5. So I'm going to start drawing 5 right here. That's 5. That's the 5 shape, as you can see. There's 5. There's 5. And, of course, if you want the reward, it'll be some sort of reward. Everything will have a different reward. It might be like 5 different rewards, but it'll just be layered out different spaces. Maybe 10 different awards, and it'll be kind of random. It won't be just like the coin is this, the demon is that, and it'll go and repeat. I kind of want to put a little confusion into it, so you'll have to pay attention as you're drawing the shape. And if you want that, you'll have to stack another. I only have 20 of each color. The idea I have is to have 200 of each color, or maybe 100 of each color. So it'll be a 2-player game, and you can do 2 of every kind. It's a Noah's Ark themed game. So when you stack, doing the 2 at a time, you'll get the reward. And if you don't stack, you'll get the punishment on those spaces where there's the punishment thing on those rows. See, is those rows by those runes. The cards will play in somehow, and these dice will play in somehow. It'll be like, there'll be 6 different parts to each of the materials, like the door would be one of the dice. And if that has a 2, you would need to set it up and take your dice, and you would have to have 2 wood for your door. And whatever it would be, like, and might be metal. Say you're building the door, you'll need 6 different parts for every different part. So you'll need different parts. You'll need, like, maybe that'll be the door, and that'll be the wood screws, and that'll be the sap. So there'll be various parts that you're trying to mine. You'll mine rock and stuff like that for ballasts, and it'll kind of even out a little bit. And you'll need various things for various parts. And you're going to build this arc as you're going along, mining the resources and harvesting the resources from the terrain. It's going to be a map 4 times greater than this one, but it'll be 30 by 30 instead of 14 by 13. It'll be 100 of each color, but it'll be a 2-player game with stacking. And it'll be all these dice playing in plus the 4 directional dice. And you'll choose 1 directional dice per turn. These will be risks and rewards. If you stack, you'll get the reward on the reward rows, and you'll get a risk if you don't stack. So you'll look, and you'll have to have 2 turns in order to do that. And you'll try to move. What you're going to do is you're going to move at the same time. So when there's turn 1, both players will move at the same time. The reason for that is if you have a person start first, you have what's known in gaming as a first-person advantage. Whoever moves first in checkers or chess has a first-person advantage. And a way to eliminate the first-person advantage is through both players working at the same time. In Pente, there's a first-person advantage as well. So I'm going to have people work at the same time. So there'll be double these dice. I have the amount of dice that I would need. So everybody chooses their directional. Everybody chooses their 6 little dice. Everybody chooses their 6 big dice. So I'm going to just use the dice from the game crafter and get like the chips from, or whatever you call these, the discs from the game crafter, and make the box with the game crafter, because it'll be a board 4 times the size. And it'll be dice, chips, and it'll also be chips. So I think that I can do it 30 by 30 is within the size 900. So you can order 999 of the chips in one fell swoop. So I'm going to order 900 of those chips so you can harvest the property of the board in order to build Noah's Ark. You'll also need to harvest meat, because you'll need the meat as mentioned in Genesis 6:9. You see how I work? And I'm not even a Christian, I'm an atheist, but I'm doing this as a gift to the church for feeding me so much. Just paying it back. Plus I love designing games. And this will be the Noah's Ark game that I'm designing called Cubit.
You're scaring the hell out of me, man. Everything that I do good, I try to do good, and